Welcome back to Against My Better Judgment, the podcast where two friends,
I'm Tamara Golden.
and I'm Danielle Whiteside, tell the truth, share the lessons, and laugh about the moments that we knew better, but did it anyway. Each week, we share real stories about our lives, about the times that life surprised us, stretched us, or just straight up humbled us, and the lessons that we learned along the way.
And this season, we'll discuss with you how we do ships.
Yep. I'm going to start with saying two things, okay?
All right.
So the first is that we haven't recorded since the new year.
Yeah.
So at the end of the year, December 30th, we lost a faithful Against My Better Judgment listener. And her name is Lakita Scott Dawkins, and she's the big sister of my best friend, Jason Scott. And she was just an amazing person. She would always text me and just say, hey, I love this episode. She had a courageous battle with cancer, and she left behind her husband and her 13-year-old daughter, Grace. And obviously, her sister Shay and her brother Jason and her father Don Scott and so many other friends, families, loved ones. And so I just want to say that we miss you, Lakita, but also that Jason, I love you so much, and I'm here to walk with you through this time of grief. And I also want to say that we're missing our other co-host.
Yes.
So since we last recorded, Libby crossed the Rainbow Bridge. And so how are you doing with that?
You know, it ebbs and flows. I mean, I just miss her every single day.
See, I caught you off guard. I'm sorry.
So it's very, very difficult. And, but as you know, life must go on. But
yeah.
Well,
we miss Libby running in the background here. And, you know, things change, life changes. And so one of the things that was, I felt like a theme of last year was really just to appreciate the space you are. Like, I do believe that the best is yet to come, but also that the best is here right now, because who is in our life right now? You know, I can't imagine anyone leaving my life that's in it right now. Like, that would just take me on out of here, really.
Yeah.
It feels like.
Agree.
So I just appreciate everyone that's in my life right now. And I just want to show love to you and show love to all those people who might have entered 2026 with a whole new reality of loss. And so, yeah, I just wanted to start there because you mean a lot to me. Jason means a lot to me. Jason's family means a lot to me. And so I just wanted to start there. So.
I think that's a good, actually, I think that's a good segue into our episode 1 of season 3.
Yeah, which is all about how we do ships. And so I'll let you get started with that.
Yeah, so, and this is a neat one because it's really how we do friendships. So the ship that we're selling for episode 1 is this friendship voyage. And this one was actually complicated. I started out with notes and a framework, and just reflecting back on friendships, it was actually kind of tough. I thought, oh, this one would be a softball one to discuss, but it was actually kind of tough because something resonated with me at a young age. And that was Coach Bubba Cobb sat in a quest class and he said, if at the end of your life, you have 5 friends that you can count on your one hand, he was like, you're a very fortunate person. And I heard that, and being a very young, undeveloped kid, I'm like, give me a break. I have 30 in this room, right? But that really resonated with me as I thought about the evolution of friendships and kind of how it started for me. And for me, it started as having friends. My first friend was my brother. Mm-hmm. I mean, we grew up together. We're 2 years apart. And I think our friendship changed when he got me in a figure 4. Did your brother watch wrestling?
Oh, yes, unfortunately, because I was the wrestling dummy.
My parents left us alone, and he would start putting me in these wrestling moves. And it was all fun and games until it wasn't. This boy had me in a figure 4, and I thought I was about to die. So we had an episode about fight or flight. I wasn't about to die. Not while my mama went to the grocery store. So he had me in this figure four. I couldn't. I mean, I was seeing colors. I was going in and out.
What?
I was saved by a ceramic egg. I had this yellow ceramic egg that had 1985 on it. I'd made it in kindergarten. I don't remember exactly how old I was at this point, but I'd made it in kindergarten. My fingers reached, as he was making me go in and out, I could reach that ceramic egg. I reached it and knocked him over the head with it. And that's how I'm here today. So my brother was my best friend. He started out not being my best friend because he almost killed me.
He tried to kill you.
As
many older brothers do.
So, I went through that phase, and then I went through this phase of having best friends. I was a very different type of a kid, but I went through this phase of best friends. And I remember Sarah McIntosh, if you're out there, she moved to Soledotna, Alaska. And I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but we were in the second grade, and we did we rode each other for forever. And then that kind of grew. But what I learned is I would have lots of friends, but they would take me to certain seasons, if you will. And at some point I matured, like even my good friends from like high school, like, people that I played basketball with, they didn't necessarily they took me through high school. And then when I got to high school, when I got to college, I had college friends that took me through college. But as I thought about this topic, what I learned that I was missing was that transition from friends into friendships. None of these friends were going forward with me. And I don't know if it was a me thing. I don't know if I was just a selfish, self-centered person, but for whatever reason, my friends weren't shipping with me. We weren't transitioning to other phases. And I can remember a period with you and I mean, we were going strong, and then there's like a gap of like years. Yeah. And then, it was just a refocus, So I just learned, okay, are any of these friends, at the end of my life, I'm going to have 5 of y'all. Like I need to start getting something done. So, I think I started with developing a real friendship with my parents, something to where my parents weren't my parents. They had definitely an admiration. I had an admiration for them as parents, but my parents actually became my good friends. And I think that was the first transitional friendship I had with my mom and my dad. And then I think about like the one friend that I can think about that matriculated with me pretty good would be Lauren Duncan, who's Lauren Griffey now. That was one of those friends that just wouldn't let go. Like
you tried to get rid of it, but it kept coming
back. No
back.
matter what I did, I could be
We're just
mean.
Playing Lauren.
I could be whatever. Lauren she refused to let go. And Lauren's probably my oldest, not even probably, Lauren's my oldest friend. When I think about just friends.
Not your oldest friend, your
my longest standing friend. That's very true. So I think of the ebbs and flows of that. And I always thought like, okay, maybe our season, like when I'd get upset with Lauren, I'd be like, okay, our season's just over. No, it wasn't. It was just that, and I think where I'm going with this is we can go through life having a whole bunch of friends. And we can go through life being the life of the party. We can go through life being a great advisor. We can go through life having all these various seasons that are tough. But the difference between friends and taking it over to friendship is in the word effort. What I learned about me is that I wasn't putting in the effort. That was the only difference. I wasn't putting forth the effort that it took to take friends into the next phase of my life to making them those actual friendships. So I think when we think about friends and friendships, there's something very reciprocal in that relationship that you have to kind of remember. So
yeah, I'm so glad that you framed it that way, that there's a difference between friends and friendship. And in that framing, friendship is a long-term commitment.
Yeah.
And I will have to say, I've been really blessed with friends in my life.
You're friend rich.
I am
you're
very friend rich. And I can't even, like, I just thank God for that, because I have my long-standing friendship is Jontice, and she and I have been friends since kindergarten. And we went from kindergarten through college together, like went to the same schools from kindergarten through college. And so it is a commitment. And even like Jason, we've been friends for 20 years now. And I have people in my life, that I've known for shorter times, but I have those people in my life who really, I feel that we've had a commitment to each other. Like, that I'm going to be in your life, and, we're going to ride through life together. And so I've just been really blessed, but you are absolutely right. It is a commitment. It is like, when Jason lost his sister, we immediately, like, what can I do for you? I'm here for you as you're doing what your family needs you to do to support them. And so that was, us sending him, a quick Starbucks gift card or Uber gift card, or, I can proofread her obituary for you, or, Jontice, when her mom passed, it was, what do you need me to do? How can I show up for you? And the commitment is the same in return. And so I really feel like in my life, like, my friends, are really my soulmates. Like, of course I have my husband who is a soulmate for me, but like, they are my friends. And I count you in there too, that, there's some people you can just be 100% yourself, and you can bring whatever challenges and even disagreements. Like, I think probably one of the hardest things that I went through with Jontice as my friend is that she got married, but did not have me there. She chose to have a very small wedding with just her family. And I was like, well, I'm your family, like, I'm your family, but that was her choice. And so, we had to work through that. And I think when you have a friendship, when you have someone who you've committed to doing life with, you can't just throw them away.
Agreed.
When you go through a different season or a different phase, like, you have to work through it almost in the same way you would work through a marital problem or something like that, when you have committed to doing life with someone.
That's a good point, because I am really good at letting go. Like, I will ride, and I am really almost too good at letting go. I will let go of a good thing in a minute. I mean, especially if I feel hurt.
Yeah.
Like, I will let it go, or I will rewrite it.
Yeah.
I will make it something different, because I think the reality is a lot of the friends that I have today will not be in friendships with me tomorrow. Like, it's just the reality of life. But I think what you said that I really like is, you said you show up for them the way in which you need them to. I think that is really hard. It's really hard, especially when someone's going through and you want them to feel supported. You want them to feel important. You want them to mourn. You want them to grieve, or opposite, you want them to be happy. But your feelings and emotions don't necessarily match that. And I think that word of, being what they need you to be when you need them to, regardless, removing yourself and really being what you need them to be, is something that it's hard. I think I'm good at it, but it's hard. I think the thing that I run into is putting myself in the way. It's hard for me to find somebody that's that for me. Like, I find myself with a lot of my friends being things to them that they're not for me. Like, and so eventually it can be like 2 years, it can be 3 years, it can be 5 years, it can be 10 years. And then it'll hit me. I'm like, wait, I'm doing all the work here.
So yeah.
So, but again, I think that effort and the reciprocal effort is something that it's hard. And that's why it's a ship.
Yeah.
Ships move very slowly.
Yeah, they do. And you ain't getting off either. Yeah. So I think it's just, I believe, just from what I hear you say about your friends, you have people that you are in friendships with.
For sure.
And I challenge you, just because I know some of the backgrounds and the history there, that even as they encounter different transitions in their own lives that maybe you're not necessarily a part of, that you don't throw them away, that you stay with them through their transitions, because that is the commitment in a friendship.
I agree.
I mean, like, I've had, I count you, actually, of all of my closest friends, like that I'll count you, Jason, Jartis, Allison. None of y'all have kids. So
you're right.
Yeah. So I've experienced major transitions that would arguably pull you apart from your friends.
Exactly. True.
And y'all have stuck with me, and, if, say for instance, I moved away or something, like, we would stick together. Even we would figure it out. We would how to support each other.
And I think that's the thing. It's that figuring it out. Like, it's that's the thing. Like, I've been through most of my friends are married, and most people know that. Most of my close friends have kids.
Yeah.
Most of them. Most of my close friends are totally different from me. I mean, in every way.
Yeah.
But we have figured out a way to make it work. And when it doesn't work, I think you just have to rethink things.
Yeah.
But I think the effort is the thing that I'm assessing in 2026, because the other thing is it even worth it? Like, if we're not happy when we're hanging out, then, life is very, very short.
Yeah. It's nobody I'm hanging out with that I ain't happy.
It's just not
that
worth
I
it.
Voluntarily hang out with.
Correct. And I think I think that's the thing. And I think we deserve to voluntarily pick who we spend our time with. And you can't let somebody else dictate that for you.
That's true.
So I think this journey of friendships, I think it's very good. I think it's important because community is important. And while friends have their place, there's nothing like, if you're going to be on a cruise, it better be a friendship. Yep. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It better be a friendship.
Yeah, because life is hard.
It is.
It's the ghetto.
Yep.
So,
and you need good friends.
You do. You need the friendships to sustain you. Like, I would not be. They just add the richness.
I agree.
So,
and I think about another friend. Like, we were talking earlier. We talked a little bit about Libby, and I have props today. This picture painting of Libby.
Oh, look at Lipster. Oh, with her little bow. I love that little bow.
So she was commissioned as, and it's weird, as we think about this weather and being cold, like, that was when you say that was my dog, like, that really was my dog. Like, and so when you think about friends and friendships, I think about the loyalty of Libby.
Yeah.
And it's a hard standard. Like, if I've been gone for 6 hours, that dog will jump up on her one leg for me. Like, if I've been a grouch, she'll come put her face in my lap. Like, if it's just, that's what friends do. Friends move you forward. So, if you have some friends, y'all, do not be on a ship by yourself. Get some friendships, invest effort, and hold your friends accountable for their inside of the deal.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I feel in some kind of way. You haven't called me.
Listen, I'll send that text. Hey, I ain't heard from you. Okay.
Hey,
where are you? We need to check in.
No. But I consider you a great friend, Danelle, and you're very rich in my life. You're rich in my parents' life. They ask about you and the boys, and I love it. Like, I saw Shannon. It was so exciting when he recognized me. It was like, hey, So I love it. So
yes. Well, thank you for your friendship.
Of course.
And I hope that you guys have friendships as well that you are enriched by and that you enrich as well. So
agree.
Okay, we're going to move on to the Will Be the Judge segment. And this is where we give you our qualified and unqualified opinion. And this letter comes from Kenzie. Kenzie says, I have a small question that's been bugging me, and I feel like y'all will understand. I have a friend I really like, but I'm always the one who remembers her birthdays, texts first, plans the catch-up lunch. She never forgets my birthday, but I'll be honest, her messages are a little dry. No emojis, no inside jokes, just happy birthday. Am I being petty, or is it okay to wish people well but stop going all out when it feels one-sided? That's from Kenzie.
Well, Kenzie, you just heard me. Why? You know your friend. Like,
yeah.
Why? Like, why? Why are you? I mean, at some point, people will show you who they are, no matter how hard you try to make them into something else. They will come true, and they will show you who they are, no matter what. So, if it sounds dry, it's because it's dry. If you're doing all the reaching out, it's because you're doing all the reaching out. But I tell you what, their voice is totally different when they're talking to other people. They are not sitting at home twiddling their thumbs. I bet if you saw their text messages, they're texting everybody else. I mean, I have this friend that never gets my texts and my phone calls, but when I'm around her, she's always responding to texts. I'm like, you can't do that. I mean, so I would say, Kenzie, that might just be what you described as a friend. But you know whether or not that's a real friendship, and that's somebody that's taking you forward or you're taking forward.
I have a different take on that. Considering you are the person who barely responded to text messages for many, many years, that just may not be the way your friend communicates. And if that's the case, you got to understand and figure out, you said that she never forgets your birthday. And so,
but that means they're not kicking it on their birthday. Like, that also means they're not celebrating the birthday.
Yeah, but like, I literally have friends that, like, one of my friends recently, her birthday passed, and it was 2 days later. I was like, "Oh, girl, I'm so sorry, I forgot." And
that's different. But that wasn't dry.
It wasn't. But sometimes people need a little grace. If you see that it's consistent, it might be time to just be like, "Hey, girl," but what you sound like saying, you only text me happy birthday with a period and not an exclamation
That's
point.
not what she would say. She'd say, look, you have to teach people how to treat you. And it takes work. It takes time. And if you can't figure out my personality by now, like, it depends on how long, but if you hadn't figured out how to treat me by now, then you're definitely you have not invested enough to care. Like someone said, people understand you. Like people understand you if they choose to understand you. So Kenzie, she hasn't chosen to understand you. Now, it is worth the conversation. I do think that, but
I'll just say, watch and see, and you'll figure out what feels like an even give and take.
I'm going to say, you asked that question for a reason. You know that answer.
Give us an update. Let us know. Did you kick your friends to the curb, or did y'all have a discussion, or what?
I'm hopeful. I hope you work it out, Kenzie.
Yeah. Okay, so it's time for
Against My Better Judgment. So, Danelle, talk to us. This is the namesake, Against My Better Judgment. What has happened?
Okay, so I'm going to catch y'all up. Do you remember that I, against my better judgment, told my son that we were going to go out of town for his birthday?
Yeah, that's what he had a choice.
He had a choice between having a party or going out of town, and he chose to go out of town.
Smart man.
So on his birthday, we surprised him. We said, I said this on a past episode, so I'm just recapping. We told him, sorry, buddy, we didn't get you a present this year. He was like, why? And then we said, because we're taking you on a trip. And he was so excited. Then after that, every single day, he asked me what we were going to do. What we're going to do when you get there, what date are we going to go? So against my better judgment, I told him back then that we were going on this trip.
Why is that bad?
It's even worse because the day we were supposed to go on the trip, I mean, like hours before, my brother texted me and was like, hey, Dash has the flu. Dash is the youngest in the house. And then by the end of the day, they all had the flu. So,
and that's where you were going.
We were going to go visit him and his family, which Dash and Donovan are the same age. So like they are thick as thieves. Like they FaceTime all the time. Like they, even though they've spent majority of their life at this point living far away from each other, they are still like besties. So Tamara, I'm going to describe to you. So I called my mom after my brother calls me, and we called my mom on three-way because my mom was going to go with us. And I was like, Mom, Dash has the flu. What do you think? So we were all just going, she was like, well, do you think we could get an Airbnb? And I'm like, yeah, but they're kids. So if Dash has the flu, even if he wears a mask, like they're not going to stay apart. None of us really want to get sick. So yeah, I was like, they're not going to stay separate. And then we're all going to get sick. We have this baby. No, none of us need the flu. So ultimately, like, and when I'm talking about hours, I was about to leave work, go to the airport where my mom was going to meet me there with the kids, and we were going to get on the plane and go. So like, it was hours before. When I tell you, I did not want to go home, because one thing you cannot do is tell Donovan something and then change your mind. I was telling everybody at my job, I was like, y'all have to pray for me because it's about to be rough. So I left work. Despite the fact that we weren't going on the trip, I was like, let me go ahead and go to get them because I know he's already wearing my mama out. Girl, when I got over to my mom's house, he was just, you lied to me. You tricked me. Why would God let this happen? I mean, he was torn up.
Why would God let this happen?
Listen, and so, I'm trying to find a lesson in this. I was like, look, Donovan, I said, sometimes God protects us from things that we can't see. Of course, he wasn't trying to hear that. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was upset. So then I knew I had to have a plan B because, we got to make this right. So I said, okay, I'm going to try to find something for us to do. So we ended up the next day having like a downtown Nashville day. We had so much fun. And so he was like, okay, I feel a little better. I'm still mad, but I feel a little better. So the next day, though, guess what happened?
Did somebody get sick?
He got sick. He was throwing up. He had the stomach virus. So I told him, I was like, see, I said, if we had gone to Connecticut to visit Dash, you would have been sick, throwing up, and we would not have had a good time. And I was like, see, God already knew that. And so he was like, you're right. He understood. Yes. So anyway, no more surprises. Yeah. We're going to tell you when we get to the airport that we're going out of town.
That's what we're going to do.
I don't have time for those changes. I mean, we went round and round.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I would have acted the same because I'm still sitting here wondering. I'm like, Donovan, like, okay, so Dash is sick, but this trip, Connecticut is still there, isn't it? I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, I would have been no help for that one.
Well, I mean, we had all these plans. We were going to go spend the day in New York City. We had booked, to be able to see Santa Claus in Macy's and Herald Square.
We could have still did all that without Dash.
Oh my God.
Donovan, you are lucky I wasn't. I'm telling you, sorry. Dash just wouldn't have known we were there, honey, but we were getting on that plane.
So now we got to figure out another time to go. And, as life is, like, there's only short windows of time to do stuff. So like now we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we fit it in, and how do we fit the trip in? With my school, their school, work, all these kinds of things. So,
hey, y'all did downtown.
We did. We had a good time. After he recovered from the stomach virus, we had a great time downtown and rolled into the holidays. Because that's the other thing. It was right before Christmas. Correct. And so none of us wanted the flu for Christmas. So we were not doing that. But anyway, I just shouldn't have told him.
Yep. I get it. I have no words for that. You're spot on. That was just tricky.
Yeah.
So, but also a lesson that he learned early.
He did.
I mean, the reality is, you should have told him. And the reality is stuff changes.
It does. And he's got to learn how to adjust to that.
Correct. So,
Plans change all the time. And you can't be, oh, why did God let this happen every time?
Right.
I mean, we all have those feelings of like, why did things happen? That's another Against My Better Judgment segment about the time I didn't get to go to see Beyonce in Canada.
Okay, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But anyway, we might fall apart for a second, but we realize, time keeps moving. We got to move on. So
yeah.
Anyway, so what are we taking away from this conversation?
I think the idea that just overall over the entire episode is that just gratitude for friends that stay along for the ride with us, and the value and the significance of good, solid friendships, and knowing that you're lucky if you have them.
Yep.
So,
and same, I remember in grade school, there was a poster on one of my teacher's wall that said, it takes a friend to be a friend, or something.
Takes one to know one. Yep.
Yeah. So I just messed that phrase all up. But anyway, to have a friend, you have to be a friend. Maybe that's it. That's
Absolutely.
it. So, be a good friend, and don't just be a friend. Be in it for the friendship.
Yeah.
Like the stick and stay of friendship. And you are so blessed if you have 5 that you can count on. And I definitely have my 5. So I'm grateful.
Me too.
So we'll see you next time. Have a great one.
Hey, but
Child forgot. Send us your questions at againstmybetterjudgmentpod@gmail.com or Against My Better Judgment Pod on Facebook or Instagram.
All right, we will see y'all next week for another episode of Against My Better Judgment.
Okay.
Bye.